Been 100,000 last time they sponsored us. You can get a free audiobook by going to audiblepodcast.com/deadcast and sign up for a free trial. And if you do that, we'll get credit and they will love us.
Yes. And that would be nice.
So we are a day later than usual because of Walker Stalker Con, which we'll talk about later in this podcast. After this, we'll be up every Tuesday morning for the rest of the season. So,
well, the podcast will be up. I don't know that we're going to be up.
Yeah, we'll be asleep. I actually put it out really late Monday night, but I always like to over-promise and under-deliver. No, it's the other way around. Anyway, let's get right into...
Let's over-deliver.
Let's get right into this week's episode.
Okay.
Attention, shoppers. Deadcast Top 5 in 5, 4, 3, 2.
All right, it's Deadcast Top 5 this week. It's Top 5 highlights for Season 5, Episode 2. Do you know what it's called?
Yeah, Strangers.
Why is it called that?
Because there are lots of strangers in this episode. Yeah. People that you maybe want to trust and maybe don't want to trust.
That's right, huh? I never thought about it until just now. Gabriel's a stranger. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's a little bit about how this group, some of them still feel like strangers to each other.
Yeah, that could be it too.
So, in general, what did you think?
I thought it was a really good episode. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really liked it. I liked the tone. I liked the mystery of Father Gabriel. I liked the weird water zombies and the very, very sad, tragic ending. I mean, I didn't actually like the ending. I love Bob, so I kind of hated the ending, but I recognize it as a fantastic ending. So the pace was great. It was more talky than last week, but
it started off. Yeah, it was very talky through most of it. Actually,
but I like that.
And I was a little, the first time I watched it, a little bit like, come on, something happened. I was really happy when they saw the zombies downstairs. But then by the time it was over with that ending and just going back also and watching again and realizing just how much information was in all that talk.
Right.
I loved the episode. I thought it was just as good as the premiere, actually. So I gave it a 4.4 gax.
Yeah, I loved it very much too, but I just loved it. It's a different kind of episode. Mm-hmm. But
I mean, great. I almost thought it was like a new direction for the series, like a reset. It almost felt like a pilot to me because last week was sort of the resolution of the cliffhanger, which they haven't done before.
Right.
So this felt almost like the first episode of the new season.
Yeah, that's an excellent point.
And it's really interesting to see the show going in this new direction, which I think is really cool. I thought I was like, when I was watching, Bob and Sasha be all lovey-dovey, I was like, oh, it's really nice to see them so into each other, but it's getting me a little scared that, oh, crap.
I know. I kept saying, stop being so happy. Stop.
Yeah, at this point in the series, it used to be when we saw happy stuff, we'd be a little afraid, but mostly we'd be like, it's nice for them to have a rest, and then something really bad would happen and we'd be like, oh, that didn't last long. But now we've gotten to the point where as soon as the happy thing starts, we're like, uh-oh.
Yes, or when somebody's extra hopeful, and Bob was very, very hopeful, very optimistic and hopeful.
Bob was very optimistic.
Like that is your death knell, pal.
Yeah, for one, he really believes Eugene's going to cure everything.
He does.
Yeah, and he said, this is a nightmare and nightmares end. But the other thing that I loved was his game with Sasha.
Yes.
It's called Good Out of the Bad.
Yes. The sun gives you a nice tan.
Yeah. Everything that she said, he had to turn it around and make it good. So wet socks, he says, cool feet, mosquito bites, itching reminds you you're alive. I think that's a huge stretch, by the way. I'd rather just
oh, thank God. I got bit by a mosquito. I'm alive.
I would say itching feels good. That could be a positive, even though... You know what I mean? Sometimes when you have that itch and you scratch it, and it's like, oh God, this feels so good.
Yes,
and then you,
scratching feels good. Itching sucks.
That's true. Danger around every corner, never a dull moment. I can get on board with that one to a degree.
Yeah,
I used to ride a motorcycle. The hot sun beating down on you, a glorious tan, which is awesome because they're black. And Tyrese laughed at that too. No privacy, captive audience. Legs being eaten by cannibals.
Bad.
Weight loss.
You get to have empathy for the disabled.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's always nice.
I don't know. That would be a hard one to look on the positive side. On the other hand,
Well, we got to ask Bob.
Yeah,
What about this one?
let's go ask Bob. I have a possible theory about that, and maybe a bright side to somebody eating your leg.
Okay.
Do you want to hear it, or should we wait?
Oh, yeah. Let's hear it. Go ahead.
All right. So here's my theory. And it's not my theory, actually. It's a theory that I read. Somebody said, well, maybe Bob was bit in the cesspool of zombies in the basement.
Yeah.
And in which case, if they are eating his leg, maybe they're eating the leg of an infected person. And we don't know how the virus spreads. Maybe they're all going to turn into zombies. Ha 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 ha.
Right.
So that would be the little silver lining.
Well, let's see. After he got attacked in the food bank in the water, I'll just say I think you're right. I think that's true. And after he got, they got the zombie off of him, he stood up and he's all, "I'm okay now," but he didn't look okay.
He did not look okay.
And, you could say, well, that's because he just had this traumatic event happen. But maybe he got bitten and he was like, "No, I'm not okay," but I'm not about to admit that right now.
Right, exactly.
Later, they did that one more kiss game that was all cutesy the first time.
Yeah.
But then when they're all sitting down to eat dinner and he says one more and he kisses her, and if you think about maybe he got bit, it looks like it could be our last one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then he goes out and he's crying.
Yep.
And he has a gun in his pocket.
Yeah.
And I was already thinking maybe he got bitten. So I was like, see, I use correct English, by the way. Bitten. I said.
Jolly good, sir.
Was he just going to kill himself? I mean, that wouldn't be very cool to do right there in front of the church and leave his corpse out in front of there for everybody to see. But
no, maybe he was going to go into the woods and die like a wounded bear or something.
Yeah. I mean, maybe he didn't get bitten, though. We don't know. He could have been crying because everyone was drinking wine. Or
he could have been I cry sometimes because I'm so happy.
No, he wasn't happy, but he wasn't happy. He was obviously distressed, right? You don't think so? I mean, it looked pretty obvious to me that he was not at all happy.
He didn't look happy at all.
And he's an alcoholic, and they were drinking a lot of wine.
That's possible.
I think that was the misdirection, though.
Yeah. Absolutely, because they mentioned the wine a couple times and they made a big point of the wine. And I hope that if he is infected, I hope they are eating his infected leg. And I hope that there's some magic way that the termites become infected because they deserve it. And that would be his happy ending. Okay.
Well, if he's infected and they eat him, I mean, as we know, we're all infected already. But once you get bitten by a zombie, your death gets sped up very fast. So that's what we would hope, is that they would eat his tainted meat and then they would die very soon, right?
Yes.
That's what you want to see.
Yes.
Okay.
And by the way, I have to say that I don't understand why
I don't think that's going to happen, by the way.
They'd get
because
infected?
we know that what's his name has talked about his future on the show. I mean, unless it's a death over the next month, or you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it sounds like he's going to be around for a little while.
Yeah, Gareth. But at least maybe Bob turns during this whole this whole
and
process.
Crawls over and eats.
And crawls over and eats.
I'm going to get you back now.
By the way,
eat your leg.
Would you cut off the leg first? Here's why you would not cut off the leg first. If you're cutting off limbs to preserve everything, right? Which is, I assume, what they're doing. Cut off an arm first, because if you cut off a leg, you can't move him around if you have to. You're kind of dragging him around after that.
Also, he can't get away as easily.
He can't get away as easily, but if he has only one arm, he can't grab a weapon or untie a knot or strangle you as easily.
Well, so what you're saying presumes that they might want to move around, which that's reasonable. That's true. But I could also see them going, I'm really hungry. What should we have? Let's have a thigh. Thigh or a wing today.
It does seem succulent. That my heart broke, by the way. When I saw that, my heart broke. I know.
Why? Just kidding.
Because I love him.
Yeah. Were you shocked? I mean, when you saw Gareth talking to him and it pulled back.
Yes.
And then the music changed, just what we played at the beginning of the podcast here.
Yeah.
you felt sad. Is that I felt like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, that was a huge moment from the comics. And my thought was, like, all different things going on at once. One was, oh my God, I can't believe they're actually showing them eating this guy. It's so wrong. This show just gets more and more fucked up as it goes along. And I love it. And two, I'm so stoked to see this moment pulled right out of the comics. That was so like, as we get along and my memory gets worse, I just remember vague details about the comic, but this is one that has stuck in my mind. You know?
Wow, because it's so messed up.
Yeah.
In the comic, does the person eating the other person show him his own foot? Here.
I think so, yeah.
Check it out. I'm eating your foot.
I think so, yeah. I can't remember, but I remember seeing the severed leg for sure.
It's awful. Those people, by the way, they don't need all that meat. They're going to get the gout. Or at least high cholesterol. Dummies.
Well, we're obviously kind of getting into some of our top five without explicitly saying so, but I'm going to go first, okay?
Yeah, go
so the
right
ending
ahead.
was my number 5.
The ending was my number 1.
Mm-hmm. I wondered how they got his leg off. Did they just saw it off?
It can't have been easy. However they did it, it wasn't easy.
They just yanked it off. But he was knocked out, so somebody had knocked him out. I don't want to give too any spoilers about the comic in case people want to read the comic, but I'll say the character who this happens to in the comic is somebody else, right? Because Bob isn't even in the comic, so that's a safe bet.
Okay.
He's in the books. There's a guy named Bob Stuckey. But anyways, I was thinking if they were going to pick somebody to have this happen to, Bob is probably the one that we maybe feel least attached to. I mean, I like Bob a lot. And you might not agree with that because I know you really like Bob. Do you agree with that?
I agree with that for most people. For me, I feel very attached to him.
So who would it have been
easier to say goodbye to?
Who would it have been easier to see?
Nobody.
So he's the easiest.
I love them all.
You have to pick the one that would be the bravest or the least brave for AMC to say, okay, we're going to let this character go.
I don't want to play your heartbreaking game.
Come on,
Father
Karen,
Gabriel.
don't just keep saying you don't want to play these games because then I have to talk to myself. Pick somebody.
All right. Give me who's the most annoying person? See, at this point, I have to tell you, I love this team.
I do too.
And they're all tried and road tested.
Yes.
And they are a lean, mean fighting machine. And you would never want to. These would be like the all-stars that I would draft. Right. If I could draft a team of all-stars, it would be them.
I'm not going to actually ask you to do this. Let's say a random person, okay? There's this random person, and let's say it's a guy, and he has his wife. And then he has this acquaintance that he really enjoys a lot. And they have a beer every once in a while. Now they're going to say, okay, we're going to kill one of these people. Who are you going to pick? Well, he loves them both, but he's going to pick the acquaintance, right? Because he loves his wife more. Right. So think of it like that. There's all these people. You love them all.
Feeling very Sophie's Choice around here.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's Sophie's Choice. All right. If you really don't want to pick, then
Rick.
That's okay. No, shut up. Okay, then I'll put it to the listeners. You guys pick. But what I expected you to say was Beth, because she's the one that I like too. I like Beth a lot, but I think Beth might have been easier to see than Bob. Although, on the other hand, for some reason, I think it might be harder to see a woman go through this than a man.
Yes, I agree. Yeah. And I also have to say that apparently we're the only ones that are. I mean, I miss Beth, actually. I
do too. Yeah.
We're the only ones who seem to miss her besides Daryl. Maggie doesn't miss her. She's never mentioned her.
Well, that's a good place to bring up that you and I at Walker Stalker Con got to host a panel with the Green family, Scott Wilson, Herschel, Beth and Maggie, Emily Kinney, and Lauren Cohan. And Lauren Cohan really wanted to make a point to say that she has brought up, hey, Maggie should be writing Glenn and Beth follow me to Terminus on these signs. And Lauren is upset that Maggie's not showing more concern for Beth. And especially now when Daryl comes up and say, oh, your sister got kidnapped. And then she's all, let's have a nice dinner and some wine. And not worry about it too much, you know?
Yep.
But I guess for some reason the writers just don't want Maggie to be focused on that right now. I don't know.
Scott Gimple has his reasons. At some point, I think Glenn and Maggie are going to talk, and Glenn is going to say to her something like, "I know you don't like talking about Beth," or something like that.
I don't want to think about it. And then he's going to say, "You remind me of my friend Karen, this podcaster."
Karen's kind of a dope.
Used to know. She never wanted to think about bad things. Okay, and then just a little bit more on that ending. There was a mark on a tree when the termites knocked Bob out. Did you notice that?
I did.
Line?
It was weird.
But it was actually there before they knocked him out. One of our listeners pointed out.
Oh, that's interesting.
I was like, what was that? Like the slice where they cut his leg off?
Right.
I watch it again. No, they like knocked him out and dragged him off. So I think that there's things with symbols going on. There's that X that Morgan saw last week, which Karen and I didn't talk about that, by the way, because the episode that we saw didn't include that. That's why. We saw an early version. We didn't just ignore it.
Yeah, I mean, we promise you. We took a lot of heat for that, but our early version did not include that. By the way, it didn't look just like a slash. It looked like a downward sloping L. Did you notice that?
So there's these symbols, and it seems like some kind of markers, possibly a way to communicate. I have a feeling it's the bad guys making these symbols, whether that's the Terminus people or the guy who had the tattoos all over his face that was in the train car, one of those people. I don't know. Or maybe it's Father Gabriel might have done it, or maybe the people who took Beth. There's a lot going on right now.
There's a lot going on right now.
And then the last thing I wanted to say about this is I think the people at Terminus apparently had a better plan than Rick and his group. When the prison got attacked and they all scattered, it took them a while to find each other. But the Terminus people who are left, the Terminus got messed up and they're all together. So they must have had a meeting place or something smart like that.
Right. You figured they had a contingency plan. Yeah. By the way, did you notice in that group that the guy, Martin, from the cabin that Tyrese said he killed, or at least he thought he killed, was there?
I did. Actually, I didn't, but somebody pointed it out. So what do you think of that? Did Tyrese lie?
No. In fact, on The Talking Dead, which I saw after The Walking Dead, Chad Coleman was on, and they asked Chad Coleman, so did Tyrese lie? And Chad Coleman said, no, Tyrese didn't lie. Tyrese actually thought he killed him, is what his answer was.
Yeah, we were watching that night when we did our lab podcast after the show. We watched a few minutes of Talking Dead.
Oh, did you?
And James was like, Chad Coleman's lying. I don't think he would lie, though, right? He could. He maybe did.
Maybe.
But it is a question because Tyrese has shown that when he's upset, he can be very powerful, but a lot of the times he's kind of meek. So, I mean, I guess if I had to say, I would say he thought he killed him, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. He seems like a gentle guy, and I think it's hard to kill somebody. I don't have listeners. I have no direct experience.
He was saying, I won't, when he was hitting him. And so there's a chance that he
held back
and even might have suspected he didn't finish the job, but just couldn't bring himself to. There's a chance. Even despite what Chad Coleman says.
Right.
There's a chance of that.
Yeah, that's true.
What's your number 5?
All right, my number 5 is, I mentioned it before, and I'll touch on this briefly, is the team. Right now, they are one awesome, badass team. Mm-hmm. Again, these are the zombie fighters that I would draft on my all-star team. They're amazing. I just love that it's fun watching them all together. They were separated the second half of last season, so it's really fun to see them together and see what they do.
And a lot of them are together for the first time, right?
Yeah.
They're bringing Tara in, and Abraham is integrating pretty well, I would say.
Yeah.
And better than I thought he would. He's giving his expertise and orders, but in a way that's respectful to Rick.
Yes.
He's not really challenging him in a tense way.
Right.
More just trying to persuade him and stuff like that.
I also like that he used FUBAR in a sentence.
Yeah. What does that stand for?
Fucked up beyond all reason, I think.
Yeah. I think that's right.
I think that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. And he called him officer too.
And and Eugene, he's not a fighter. In fact, he's a really bad fighter, but he has other skills. presumably. We'll see.
Yeah.
And of course, Judith is a baby, so clearly she's not a fighter, but she's like this thing that brings everybody happiness. So
and if you have a baby to protect, you might actually be more fierce. So she could help in that way.
Right. And I also like
maybe
that,
that's a stretch, but as a father, I don't think so.
Yeah, I think you would probably be pretty fierce when defending your little cub. I think that I love that they're still hanging on to their goodness and their humanity for right now, and they're
me too.
They're really trying hard to side with what's right and just, and it makes living worth living. If you just devolve, as Gareth says he has, why bother? What's the point?
Well, his devolution, I don't know.
Devolution.
I think what he meant by that, I guess, was that instead of luring people into a trap, now they have to go out and hunt.
Yeah. Okay, we're devolving into hunters, but we're not devolving into cannibals. Brother, you've got a choice. You made the wrong one.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue with you on that. But I am still interested to see what led to that. I hope that I would love it if they would show some flashbacks, not do full on episodes like they did with the governor, but just a few minutes here and there. And I want to see them really, really hungry, and they eat a bad guy and they're like, wow, that tasted really good. I don't know. Or something.
All right. What's your number 4?
My number 4 is Father Gabriel.
Yeah.
I think there's, just like with Bob, there's a bit of a mystery with what's going on with him. He looks so guilty. At first, I was almost feeling a little critical about how guilty the actor was playing it until I kind of worked out what I think happened. And if that's right, then he would have to be a pretty shifty, cowardly guy to do this. So what do you think happened?
Oh.
Do you not have any thoughts? Okay.
No, I don't have it. Right now, I'm taking him for face value.
Didn't he say, we've all done bad things, but I just confessed to God or something?
Yeah. No, he didn't actually say did he say I've done anything bad?
I think he
did say I confess only to God, but I'm not sure that he even admitted he did anything bad.
I think he did, but I'm not sure either.
And I don't buy what he's saying. Clearly he's lying, and clearly bad things have happened. He's hiding a lot
then you just said you take him at face value, and then you said clearly he's lying.
Well,
so how do you?
All right, you're right. I'm wrong.
I don't know. No, I mean, I just don't. I want to understand where you're coming from.
Well, I think that he's hiding a lot, but I'm not entirely convinced right now that he's completely bad.
Okay.
I think there's a lot that's happened to him, and he's cagey, and certainly Carl has done some excellent detective work, by the way. And yay, Carl, finding all the stuff, the carvings on the outside of the church. Well done, lad. Yeah,
there were scratches as if someone was trying to get in, and it said, "You will burn for this."
You'll burn for this.
So what does that mean?
Right. Did Father Gabriel cowardly hide in the church and barricade the doors and barricade himself in when outsiders needed to be let in and be given sanctuary and food and he may have kept himself inside and apart from others? I mean, that would be an awful thing.
And so here's what we know. We know that he had a ton of food in there, and it was all gone, and he told everybody that he stayed in there for a long time and didn't even step over the church door. Then he had only ventured out past the stream that first day that they found him. So, and then the clues that we have are what you just said. So to me, that means that he also said his whole flock was gone, with his followers. So if you put all that together, that means to me that he sat inside eating that food with them barricaded out, starving and being attacked by zombies, and didn't let them in. Yeah. So that's pretty fucked up. I don't think he's maliciously evil. I think he's a coward, and he comes off like a coward.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But I'm not sure he's a really bad guy. I mean,
well, what if your family was locked out by some guy who had a bunch of food and shelter?
Well, I mean, maybe he was just so afraid, and maybe they were people he didn't know, and he was afraid of those people.
They're his congregation, I think.
I don't know the congregation would write, "You'll burn for this" on the outside of his.
Hell yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't
they
know.
would. They're always talking about burning in hell and, how religion is.
Episcopals?
Oh, I don't know.
It was an Episcopal church, Saint Sarah.
I don't know Episcopalian scripture, but they talk about hell.
No,
yeah.
there's not a whole lot of
There's
brimstone going on there.
Yeah. I mean, just because they're Episcopalian, let's say Episcopalian church doesn't include the idea of hell, which I think it does. That doesn't make me think, it probably wasn't his followers. I think it was his followers.
Yeah.
People he knew well. In fact, even
don't
Rick
know.
said when they saw the woman down in the
church lady?
the church lady, the one that looked like the crypt keeper down in the food bank, and he panicked. And later he said to Rick, "I panicked." And Rick said, "Oh, did you know her before?" And I knew.
He had the picture.
I'm like, yeah, you knew her before. Oh, that's who it was.
Yeah, the woman in the picture, because the glasses matched the
Do
hair.
you
and
think it
everything.
was his wife?
No, I think it was just somebody in the... maybe. What do I know?
Maybe. It could be.
Yeah, I don't know if Episcopal priests can marry.
They can.
Okay, then. Maybe.
But I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't necessarily mean it was his wife. But I'm convinced that those that he left his followers outside, whether it was his followers or even if it was people he'd never met before, where did his followers go? But either way, I think it's pretty loathsome. And I think that he's going to be around for a while because of this, because for one thing, he's a high caliber actor, Seth Gilliam, who was in The Wire with all these other guys.
Yeah, they got
And
a lot of those actors.
Two, starting off in such a low place. But here's where I sort of agree with you about not being a bad guy, because he's redeemable. I think he seems like a coward, which if he can get some courage and bravery and be consistent about it, then he could be worthwhile and you could grow to trust him. So I think they've got, maybe that's where I see his story going, which means it could be a couple of seasons before he gets eaten by a zombie or something.
But by the way, it was a weird, wacky coincidence as Daryl and Carol were at the car, and that weird sedan
With the white cross on
with
it.
the white cross on it zoomed on by, right by Father Gabriel's church, and it looks like it's some sort of religious car. It's a weird coincidence that just happened to be right there by the church going by, and is the person in the car connected with Father Gabriel? Is there any kind of connection between the church and the car with a cross on it? I mean, that went right by the church. Kind of a weird coincidence, right?
Yeah, it's a coincidence. It's one of those suspension of disbelief things that the same car would drive by them in the first place. Beth. But as far as connection to Gabriel, I don't know. I mean, that cross, I looked finally this time and saw it, and it was more like a plus, like maybe it was a medical thing.
Or maybe it's part of these symbols that we've been seeing. The
Yeah.
X and the weird backwards L or upside down L or whatever it is.
I mean, I think it could just as easily be some kind of misdirection to make us think that they're connected. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Huh.
We don't have enough information on that one yet. There's some things in the previews for the season that we saw in the trailer that give me an idea, a little bit more of an idea what that's about. But since I don't want to have spoilers in this section, I don't really want to talk about that. But it's just a little bit more anyway.
By the way, listeners, send your scathing emails to Karen at
Oh, no. You
walkingdeadcast.com.
didn't say any spoilers.
I didn't say any spoilers at all.
Yeah.
I was
What are you
thinking
talking
more that I don't think that Father Gabriel yet. I don't think there's enough evidence to show that he's a terrible person.
Oh, well, I think
Other than
that's
being
more,
desperately cowardly.
Yeah, and I think you and I are in agreement about what happened and that he's a coward. I think I just think that you think that doesn't make him a terrible person, and I do.
Yeah.
Right? I think being a coward like that is terrible, and I think
It is terrible, but I'm not.
especially if a bunch of people die because of it.
Yeah,
and you could
no,
easily
no.
have just let them in.
But it's hard to know what the circumstances were. I'm kind of giving him the benefit of a doubt.
Okay.
But-
Then I guess we do disagree, but we don't have to send in scathing emails because we're allowed to disagree.
But I don't know. I may be disagreeing with all of our listeners.
Oh, okay. Okay, your turn.
My turn. Okay. The theme of hope and forgiveness this episode. I really loved all of the moments of forgiveness and grace. I'm a sucker for all those moments, and there were some really nice ones. For instance, when Tara tells Maggie about being with the governor, and Maggie very nicely and very sweetly forgives her. It was great. She gives her a hug, and it was really nice.
Yeah, I was glad. And I'm glad they got that out of the way quickly.
Me too.
After Glenn lied to Maggie about it. And I thought, oh, this is going to be a big thing. But it was really good to see Tara go up and say that. And Tara said, I didn't want to hide anymore.
Yeah, I didn't want to hide anything.
That's another theme this episode about hiding things. Carl said to Rick, we're strong. We don't have to hide anything. And then Rick said, well, I don't trust this guy, Gabriel. He is hiding something.
Yes.
So Rick wants to bring people into his group, but only if he can trust them, basically.
Right, exactly.
And Tara is definitely, he's made it clear he does trust her.
Right. And he told her so, and that was lovely. I also liked the dialogue between Rick and Carol, and where he basically says, will you have us? Can we join your group, basically?
Yeah.
That was nice. He really wanted her to know he doesn't necessarily agree with what she did, but she saved him.
I thought that was a little pandering.
Did you?
He said something like, well, I put you out here and now we're out here with you. Will you have us? Like, what is she supposed to say? No, go back to the prison. There's no choice. But I think the point of it was to be nice and to make her understand that he wants them all to be back together as a group.
And then probably like 1 hour later, she decides to take off.
She takes off. And just watching the whole episode again, it looked like she really, she was wrestling with it the whole time, but her plan was to get out of there. She told Rick early on, she said, you told me I could survive out here and you were right. And she's thinking, I can survive out here, by myself.
Maybe she even sees the group as a liability.
I don't understand for sure what's going on with her, because I still don't think she's really sorry about what she did.
No.
But this episode, it made me think it looked like she thought she didn't want to subject the group to her. Yeah. So I'm a little confused about what's going on in her head. Maybe she's confused too.
They've all got PTSD. Your turn.
Okay, I'm on number 3. It's food. There's lots of food references. Yeah. The first thing I noticed, they were feeding Judith out of the bottle, and it looked like it was water inside. People have been curious about what.
It's probably vodka. Go to sleep, baby.
Sugar water, except where they get the sugar. And why would they feed the baby sugar water? I don't know why.
Just water.
Yeah, probably just water.
Do you ever give babies water in a bottle?
No,
Are you not
I don't
supposed
think you're supposed to, actually. But maybe
you don't want babies to be hydrated?
Else, I don't think you're supposed to. I forget, man. It's been 2.5 years, but we only gave Nico breast milk for a long time, and occasionally formula. What
and
else?
Some vodka.
Yeah, lots of vodka. There were a lot of empty cans in the church that Gabriel had eaten. I noticed when Abraham was like, come on, let's get this bus in the back and get it going and go to Washington.
The short bus.
Short bus. No, I shouldn't say that. Anyways, they're like, well, no, first we're going to get supplies, water, food, ammunition. So food is very important this episode. This is a refueling episode for everyone involved, including Gareth, who ate Bob. They go to the food bank to get food. And also, I just thought, how you deal with food says a lot of about your character. It looks to me like Gabriel hoarded food and didn't share. So that says something about his character. The zombies all eat people. They're bad. The termites the termites take a cue from the zombies and also eat people. And then Rick and crew, they scavenge for canned food and they share. And then we've also seen them hunt animals, which
squirrels.
In your opinion is just as bad as eating people. And
not the zombie apocalypse.
Oh, well, last week we had a conversation about that, and you said you would be just as horrified to see animal carcasses as humans.
Yeah, that's true. In my current eyes.
Okay, but okay,
in the zombie apocalypse,
then you could make that Sophie's choice between a squirrel and Bob. You would pick the squirrel.
Sophie's choice between a squirrel and Bob.
I don't know. The squirrels are so cute.
The squirrels are cute, but the squirrel's going down.
And then when possible, they farm. But I guess farming really takes a lot of stability and time.
They don't have that. And Abraham made a very good point. You stay in one place, you become a target. And The shit goes down when you stay still, and he's not wrong. They stay still anywhere, and something bad happens. Really being in motion is probably a very good idea.
And I'm stoked that it looks like this season they're going to be in motion a lot.
I love it,
and I love that, and I like it when they settle down every once in a while, but. Being in motion is cool because there's a lot of change.
Yes.
And new things.
It's going to be fun to see how they end up filming it, because if they are in different places, we've seen them mainly walking in the forest, walking in the forest, walking in the forest, walking in the forest. It'll be fun to see. Like, they came to a town today. I was like, oh, look, they haven't been to a town in a long time.
Yeah.
A really long time.
I know. There's some stuff in the news, a little bit more about that later on if you're interested.
Good.
So stay tuned. Your turn.
All right, my turn. Something we've already really talked about, and it was the waterlogged Zeds in the basement. And it was fun to see that. In fact, this weekend we interviewed Greg Nicotero,
which was I think that was, if I had to pick a highlight, that was it.
Yeah. By the way, I had a picture with Greg at Walker StuckerCon.
I saw on Facebook.
Yeah, he's choking me out.
It looked real.
Did it? He was smiling.
No, he had a look on his face like, How was that meeting? Did you talk at all, or did he recognize you?
Oh, at the
photo
op. Oh, yeah. I said, oh, hey, Greg. And he's like, oh, hi. And I'm like, hi. I said, okay, here's what we're going to do. You're going to choke me out. And he's like, really? I said, yeah, go for it. It's fine. And so then I sort of bugged my eyes out and stuck my tongue out.
Nice.
And the photographer snapped a shot.
That's great.
It turned out really, really well.
What made you pick that?
Because I could just stand there and smile with Greg Nicotero,
right.
But Greg Nicotero is the king of zombie makeup. Am I right?
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
And if you're there with the king of zombie makeup, you want to just smile sweetly with the king of zombie makeup, or do you want to do something?
Bite your face,
right? Or something, and choking me out.
It was a great shot.
He had a cute look on his face too.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, sorry, where was I? Oh yeah. So
Zombies in the food
zombie. He gave us a little heads up and said, enjoy this moment that's coming.
Yeah. He said there would be zombies in water, and he said the effect that he told. This was before we even saw the episode, by the way. He said the effect that he told his guys to go for was rotisserie chicken look.
The meat falling off the bone. Yeah, which he achieved.
He did. The only thing I was wondering, and this is the niggling critic in me, which I can totally dismiss, but I just want to bring up, is it made me think of the well zombie, who was much more bloated.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well zombie was, you're right. Zombie was bloated for sure, and very, very waterlogged. But maybe well zombie had been in there. No, I don't
think he'd been in there longer.
Yeah.
But maybe he was just deeper down in the water. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. We'll go with that.
Okay.
Yeah, it was really fun though. And I enjoyed seeing a church lady with her glasses on. I love that you could be a zombie and still have your eyeglasses on.
That was really cool. That's the one that was going after Gabriel, because they showed it from his point of view, and she looked, and the sound changed, and you're looking out of his eyes, seeing a zombie come right at you very slowly, and she looked especially evil. I don't think there was a real person in that one. It was like a animatronic.
Yeah.
And they haven't really done a shot like that before, and it freaked me out a little bit.
Ooh, well done. Well done. I like that they're showing zombies with some of their human affectations on. I'd like to see a zombie in a bathing suit, a zombie in underwear, a zombie in a ball gown. That is what I would like.
I don't think that I talked to Yulin Womble too this weekend, and she wants him to be unintrusive.
I know she does. I know.
I know. I'd like to see that too. Well, I don't know if it's just her. That's what she's been told.
Like, I want to see scuba gear zombie, et cetera, et cetera.
Clown.
Did you notice that? Yeah, clown. Did you notice that Michonne killed one of the zombies with something that looked like an egg beater?
No, but she doesn't have her sword anymore.
She doesn't.
Now she has an egg beater.
It's so cute that she doesn't have her sword. I love that she reached for her katana at one point, like kind of like scratching a phantom limb, and she laughed when she did it. Did you notice that? It was so cute. She reached for it and she was like, "Oh, it's not there."
I didn't notice,
and it was so cute. She kind of giggles, and then she kills the zombie with something else. I think the butt of her gun. Yeah. In fact, at one point, Rick asked her, "Do you miss a sword?" And she says, "It wasn't mine to begin with. I found it." And she said, "I miss people. I miss Andrew. I miss Herschel, but I don't miss what came before."
Yeah, that, and he also said, "How did you get so good with it?"
I was out here.
And I
Practicing.
thought, man, it's about time he asked her that. Somebody
How did
asked
you
her
get
that.
so good with that
'Cause I've been-
katana?
I've been wondering that for a long time.
Were you trained in the art of samurai fighting?
It was cool. I guess they haven't really had much time to sit down and talk. I don't know, but I was glad that. And she just said, "I've been out here so long." And she also said, maybe you were just going to say this, how she doesn't miss those times.
Yes.
She misses, like you said, Mrs.
Yeah.
Andrea,
Yeah.
and she doesn't miss her sword. She says,
Yeah.
And so I guess the sword symbolizes that mindless life of killing the zombies and being like a zombie
Yeah.
to her.
Although it's a cool ass instrument.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Like, we all want to see Michonne with her sword. We don't want her to hate her sword. We want her to love her sword.
She doesn't hate her sword. She just doesn't miss it. Just another thing.
Miss it.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I think she'll get it back, right?
I do
was a
too.
little disappointed to hear her talking down about her sword. I want her to love that sword.
She's just okay with it being gone. She's very zen about it. By the way, I don't understand why they just didn't lean down and stab the well zombies or the basement zombies in the head. All they needed to do was lean down and just stab them in the head a couple of times.
I'll tell you why. It's because
It wouldn't have been as dramatic, and they wouldn't have had to gone down into the staph infection water.
Yeah, it's because it's one of those things that we always talk about that horror shows need, and dumb mistakes to amp up the danger and the excitement.
That's
and
dumb
we need
mistake.
a rule for it, the law of dumb mistakes or something
Yep.
like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Also, just walking around in waist high water where there could be zombies floating underneath to bite your ankles.
Yes.
Law of dumb mistakes.
Yes. Yes.
And if they didn't have that and everybody was really smart and did the right thing, then they wouldn't get in as much dangerous situations.
There's a Geico commercial on right now that's hilarious. It's basically a horror show, a sort of a riff on a horror show, and it's these group of teenagers, and they keep doing stupid horror trope things.
I saw that.
Yeah,
They're like, they could have gotten a car, but they're like, let's go to the shed instead. Or something.
past all the chainsaws. Yeah, and then at the end they're like, let's run to the graveyard. Everybody run to the graveyard. Yeah, it's that kind of thing.
It's like that. Yeah, exactly.
All right, suspension and disbelief.
Yeah, but this is a very specific flavor of that, where people just have to do stupid things and get themselves in danger.
Yeah, yeah. And
That was very stupid. I agree.
Yes.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I'm okay with it.
okay.
else?
Your turn.
That was mine too. Number 2, all the zombies in the food bank, and
Yep.
I thought it was just a very interesting, cool scene. And you can tell they, more or less every episode they want some good drama and character moments, some good what the fuck moments, and some really interesting zombie action. And that was one of the better. Greg Nicotero calls them gags.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
Well, I guess that means the specific zombies, but still, like, he just wants to make people go, "Oh my God, look at that!"
Yeah. Right.
So well done, sir. Okay, your turn again.
Okay. We actually went through mine, but I'm gonna use one of my. I'm gonna use my
Notes.
turn for a note.
Okay.
And my note was that. Yay, there was a great Glenn moment finally.
Yeah.
In this episode. I loved
know.
it. Glenn the scavenger. Remember when he used to be the scavenger extraordinaire?
Well, also he was awkward and kind of dopey sometimes.
Yes, which he was.
Which we loved.
in this little vignette.
Yeah.
He goes into this crazy store, and Maggie and Tara wait outside for him and kind of talk a little bit. And they hear a crash, and he comes out, and they say, "What happened?" And zombies, or sorry, we wouldn't say zombies, walkers.
Walker.
And
He said, yeah, it was a walker.
and then after a minute, beat passes, and he's like, "No, there were some boxes,
A
and
stack
some-
of boxes and a mop.
and a mop, and I tripped over it." Yeah, it's so cute. But then he came
Yeah.
out with some silencers because he had found where they were hidden, because he is a badass scavenger.
Mm-hmm.
And I also loved his little aphorism, which is, "There's nothing in this world anymore that isn't hidden."
Oh, another hiding thing.
Another theme for the episode.
Because everybody's hiding everything. Well, I love that scene too, and I was just hoping that Stephen Yun didn't read that and go, "Oh, come on! I thought Glenn had gotten past all this stuff," because he wants to be a badass or something. Because it's so endearing
It
to
is.
have those moments to
it
me. I don't want him
really
to
is.
lose that totally.
Yep.
I want him to be a hero, but...
Your turn.
Okay, my number one is the Seven Sacraments. I haven't been to church in a long time, probably since I was 10 or something. So, and I wasn't Catholic or Episcopalian anyway. But when we did our live podcast, one of the Walker Stalker Con team members, Katie Anderson, came up with this really interesting, a bunch of ideas about the seven sacraments being represented in this episode.
Wow, that was quick. Because
I know. I think she just has it in her head because she probably is religious.
Oh, okay.
But the seven sacraments, from the word sacrare, meaning to consecrate, they're Christian rites symbolic of the Spirit. I'm sure there's a lot of different definitions, but that's the one I found. So they are baptism, Holy Eucharist, confirmation, matrimony, anointing the sick, and penance, and holy orders. So baptism is entering the water in the food bank.
Yuck.
Also, baptism is about the ritual of bringing people into the fold.
Oh.
And there was a lot of that going on. Mm-hmm. Holy Eucharist is partaking of the body and blood of Jesus. So there's the dinner scene with the wine and the food. And she didn't say this because it's probably too sacrilegious, but eating a person.
The barbecue.
Yeah, the barbecue. Then there's confirmation. Rick asks Carol if she'll have the group back, and also everyone telling Abraham that the group won't be splitting up again.
Yeah.
Which didn't last too long because they're now split up again. Matrimony, Bob and Sasha, and also Glenn and Maggie. Some of these are not like totally in your face, but
sure,
they're, Bob and Sasha being together. Anointing the sick, I'm just going to quote her. She said, "The closest thing to anointing the sick I found is taking out the walkers. Anointing is meant to bring peace and strength to those in danger of dying, to ease the transition from life to death. Killing a walker is certainly one way to do that, as you can argue that the walkers are in a state between death and life."
Wow.
Penance or confession / reconciliation. That's Tara apologizing to Maggie, Tara squaring things with Rick, and Rick and Daryl accepting Carol back into the group. Lots of confession, penance, reconciliation.
Forgiveness. Mm-hmm.
And then holy orders, or I guess it's called ordination. She said Abraham stands in front of the group and preaches his plan of action. He's acting as a leader. So I thought that was cool.
Plus, there was there was a father.
Yeah, I mean, there were other religious,
a lot of religion. There's a church and a father. Yeah.
Daryl sees a wooden carving of the Last Supper.
Yeah.
And Gabriel is apparently rewriting the Bible in a notebook. Mm-hmm. And in big letters, it says, "Thou shalt not kill anymore," or "Thou shalt not kill."
Right.
Not necessarily anymore. There's a bunch of drawings with flaming heads. I don't know what the significance of that was.
That was a burning bush. It wasn't flaming heads.
Oh.
Those were burning bushes.
I don't know the story of the burning bush. I forgot. And you don't know either? I forgot. Okay, somebody tell us. And then Gabriel says there's no one left to take communion, which implies to me that no one in Rick's group is religious, or at least not of the denomination that would take communion, because I think Maggie's religious.
Yeah.
And then it reminded me of back when in season 2 they went to a church and Rick asked Jesus. Remember, he talked to that statue of Jesus?
Yeah.
And he asked for a sign that he was making the right decisions.
Right. And then what happened?
He's gotten many signs since then that he's made the wrong decisions.
He's mostly made the right ones.
Carl got shot was the one that happened right after that.
Right.
And then finally, I thought this was really fascinating, so I'm just going to read it. She also wrote, "There are 5 Bible verses on the wall of the church sanctuary. There are Romans 6:4, Ezekiel 37:7, Matthew 27:52, Revelation 9:6, and Luke 24:5. The one from Romans is about baptism and being raised in a new life. The others are all about graves being opened and the dead being raised to walk among the living."
Yikes.
In fact, Ezekiel 37 is a vision in which Ezekiel sees a valley of dried bones knit together into the most direct analogy to zombies anywhere in the Bible. So I looked up that verse. It says, "So I spoke this message just as he told me. Suddenly as I spoke, there was a rattling noise all across the valley. The bones of each body came together and attached themselves as complete skeletons."
That's weird.
So I just think that the writers wanted to add some depth, and they obviously know a thing or two about religion.
Yeah.
So they wove some interesting things in there.
They did. Yeah, that's cool, man. Well done.
Any other notes?
No, not for me.
Okay, I do.
Okay.
Of course. So there's new opening credits.
Yeah, I saw that.
I think the show's going to be kind of long this week, and plus I didn't prep. So let's analyze those next time and see if we can think of what all the little details might mean. You guys do that too. Let us know what you think. I loved that that everyone accepted Abraham's mission. I didn't think I was going to be as touched by that, but when he gave his little speech and then Judith said it was okay, so Rick agreed. It felt good, right?
Yeah, it did.
And it was also kind of cool to have the group have a purpose.
Yes, exactly. And also, I have to say, sticking around where they're at, it doesn't seem to be working that well. I think that going on a road trip is a good thing. Being on the move is a good thing. And also moving towards Washington, D.C. If there's anywhere in this country where there's going to be military holdouts, where people will have been seriously protected, it would be D.C. That's kind of all the places in the United States, the capital of our country is sort of where I think it would be the safest. It is the epicenter of all the military and should be the absolute safest place in the United States. It wouldn't be a bad idea to go there. Maybe there's already at least sort of a compound or a community of people that aren't into eating each other, and that, you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
There's going to be so much crap and danger when they get there. That's all I have to say about that. You continually forget what show you're watching.
You're right.
It does make sense, but it's not going to happen.
All right.
Maybe.
I have not read the book.
That would shock me more than anything. I'll just say that.
Yeah, but as a person who hasn't read the books,
I'm not saying that because of anything out of the book. I'm saying it as a person who's seen the show.
Right. I know. I know. You're right. You're right. Of course. But just as a logical thing, if I'm going anywhere in this country, and I think
go to the government centers. Yeah, of course. Yeah. The only thing that would make me doubt that is I would think, oh, maybe everyone had that idea, and so they wouldn't have enough resources to take care of everyone. But otherwise, I would think so. I mean, they were headed towards Fort Benning, and then I can't remember. I guess somebody told them it was, oh, yeah. Well, why would you trust those guys? But remember when there was that kind of Western moment in the bar with Rick and those two guys, and I think they told him Fort Benning had been taken, but you can't trust those guys.
That was one of the guys from True Blood.
Yeah, that was a great scene. Anybody who says season 2 is no good, go back and watch that episode.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, just a couple other things. Carol, I'm glad that they didn't just drop the Carol thing. It's still an issue, and I'm happy about that. I'm confused by it. Like, what is she thinking? But I'm glad that they're still addressing what she did and all that. I love this hashtag TWD family thing. Have you seen that?
No.
The actors tweet it out sometimes, and people who tweet about Walking Dead. And one of the panelists, Gene Page, the photo still photography guy, said that Jeffrey DeMunn came up with that concept. I don't know if it was the hashtag thing, but just that Walking Dead was a family.
That's nice.
Yeah. And by the way, that panel was awesome.
Yeah.
I'll tell you more about it later.
Good.
But there was a family feeling in the episode for sure. Rick told Tara, we save each other's lives, not in those exact words, but this is what we do here. And he also told Gabriel, if you endanger any one of these people, they're my family. If you endanger them, I'll kill you.
Right.
So there's just this really feeling of family, and this is corny, but especially after something like Walker Stalker Con, I feel like it extends out from the show to the fans.
Yeah, it does. You're right.
Yeah. This podcast and you guys too.
Oh.
What else? I love that Carl seemed to be pushing